Hey guys, what's up? Zax here. Today we are back with the 4th round of the Go-Kart Championship in 2015. Now, a big grid for this one. This has got 7 people in it, so that is really good. The biggest grid we've had this year, which is really good, and I think equals the most we've had of all time. Anyway, this is qualifying for round number 4. Quickly run through the helmets and the people you're seeing on the screen. Top left you're seeing is my dad, top right you're seeing Tom, and the bottom middle is you're seeing my screen there as well. So to run through the helmets, obviously you guys know that I wear the blue overalls, the blue helmet, my dad wears the blue overalls and the white helmet, Tom wears the green overalls and the black and green helmet, Tim is wearing sort of green hoodie and a white helmet, Harry's got the red helmet, Harry's dad has the red and white helmet, who's currently leading. You can see here currently on my screen, going side by side with Harry at this moment, but that's Harry's dad on the right hand side of your screen there, looking at the bottom. And Jobe is also in this race as well. He's wearing the silver helmet and the silver and black helmet, I think. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll leave that all in the description of this video so you can check it out and make sure you know who is who for this race. So yeah, overall I'm leading the championship currently, so that's really good. Tim's missed the last couple of rounds, but he had a really good first round. Obviously he took the pole position and both wins, which was incredible, but hopefully I'm going to be able to do something about that today and hopefully not let him dominate the whole thing once again. But yeah, anyway, sorry if I missed any action on the first couple of laps here. I don't think I really had. There was a couple of spins on this first lap. Oh, Harry's dad goes for a spin there. You'll have seen on Tom's side of the screen right there. But hopefully he's alright. I think he should have got it back in the right direction. It's just a bit of a slide. It looks like he's got it back in the right direction and started going once again. And you can see on my screen at the bottom here that I'm sort of catching up to Harry a bit here. He obviously somehow got into the start, well, not somehow, but he got his way to the front of the pack at the moment. Obviously he didn't start. Actually, did he start? I think he might have started on pole position. I was going to say, well, it's only qualifying, but you know, he started on the pole position on the grid, and he's managed to make that work and stay ahead at the moment. But I'm trying to find a way past here, because obviously that means I can get a better lap time if I'm not stuck up behind Harry, because then I have to follow his sort of lines, if you will. I have to sort of be stuck to his pace. And I think I can go a little bit faster, but Harry's dad spun again once again. You can see on the top left hand side my dad's screen there that you can see Harry's dad spun around, but he's got going once again. And if you see on Tom's screen here, you can see it's quite close for the top 3 at the moment in terms of on track. You can see Tim's trying to get past me here, but I just managed to get just managed to keep the position here. I'm really trying hard here to get past Harry, as obviously that means if I can get past him, I can get my lap time in. I'd say, well, my better lap time in. And I go down the inside here of Harry. He left the gap down the inside, as my dad left the gap for Jobe, who's got past as well, who obviously spun on the first corner. He's only starting to make up time now. But yeah, I've got into the front of the pack now, and Harry is just behind me. So I was like, defend for a couple of laps, and then we should be able to be clear. Harry obviously won the race, one of the races last time out, so I knew he was fast. But I don't think this track suits his style of driving as well as the other track. But that's maybe my opinion, and maybe Harry would say it himself. But I think the other track maybe suits his style of driving a bit better. And especially the wet track, it's a lot more slippy, and it's a lot harder to actually keep the car in the right direction. So yeah, obviously Harry hasn't driven this track as much as I don't know whether Harry's actually ever driven this track. I can't even remember now. Maybe it's the second time driving it, but he's definitely not that experienced on this track, and that will play a factor in why he wouldn't be as fast. But you can see Tom's now joined the party. It's sort of 4 people right at the front here, and I think there's a bit of a gap back to Jobe, who's sort of 5th person on the track. Then is that Harry's dad, I think, the 6th person on the track, and my dad's still in the 7th person on the track, still behind Harry's dad there. But we'll probably be looking at Tom's screen for the rest of this session, to be perfectly honest. There's only about 1.5 minutes to go, but obviously Tom's screen you get to see now the action of all of in front, and whilst I'm just at the front now, and I was just really hoping that I was able to get a good lap time in these last couple of laps here, because about 2 laps of the session, 2 to 3 laps of the session remaining. As you can see, Tim's trying to go down the inside of Harry here, but gets a bit sideways and doesn't manage to get that position. and now he's going up to the top hairpin. Tom's obviously a lot closer now, but Tom can't quite get that overtake done, and Tim stays third person on the track and still attacking Harry to try and get past him here. My dad still, like nearly 5 minutes into the session, hasn't managed to get past Harry's dad, who's doing a good job. This is his first time ever go-karting here. I'm not too sure if there's ever been it elsewhere, but it's first time go-karting here, I think. So he's doing a good job. So my dad's going side by side with him up to this top hairpin. Is he going to be able to get down the inside here and maybe have one lap by himself to maybe get his best lap time in? He does manage to get past, and that puts him to 6th person on track. I can see Tom right up behind Tim here is there, maybe getting a little bit stuck up behind Harry. Tim gets a bit sideways. You can see I pulled out a decent gap here, and I think we'll see the checker flag's the checker flag's gone out there, and my dad didn't actually get like a full lap time in there, so he stuck behind Harry's dad for that whole session pretty much. And you can see there Tom pulling his hand up. I'm not too sure why, but yeah, good qualifying from Tom. We'll see the results in a second here, but I was happy I managed to get past Harry because that meant I could get a couple of really good lap times in, and I did actually manage to get the pole position in the end, which is good. That's obviously 5 extra points as well for the pole position, and that means I qualified on pole. Jobe finished 2nd place, obviously after spinning at the start. Tom, Tim, Harry, my dad, then Harry's dad finished in 7th place. But I think a very interesting grid order there. Not gonna lie, I actually thought Jobe would probably take pole position here because he had that whole sort of track to himself, if you will, for most of the session. But the 5-minute qualifying session definitely gives sort of a bit more of an intense feel to it because you've got to get the lap times right. You only have about 10 laps to actually get it right. But anyway, the lights are going to be going out very soon. You can see the marshal will be pointing up to the starting gantry. There he goes, and the lights will be out, and away we go here for round number 4, race number 1. You can see get a bad start there. Jobe's already got into the lead. Tim's already got up into 2nd place here. Harry's gone side by side with Tom here. So Tom's lost the position. I've lost 2 positions. Harry's made up a couple here. Harry tries to get past me here, but it's, you know, it breaks a bit too much there, and Tom slightly hits him there. And it also looks like Harry's dad's managed to get past my dad and move up into 6th place here, because this is the race now, so this is important. You've got to be ahead of everyone here. You can't just be sitting back and waiting for others to go for overtake and stuff. You've just got to try and get the overtakes done yourself as quickly as possible. But Tom's right up behind Harry here. Is he going to be able to look for a move down the inside here? He's maybe got the speed in a straight line, but Harry goes defensive up to the top hairpin. My dad's trying to go side by side with Harry's dad, but he can't quite get that move done, and he has to stick behind him once again. And now Tom gets very sideways there. As you can see, I'm trying to catch up to Tim, who's trying to catch up to Jobe, so it's quite close. The front 3, there's a little bit of a gap back to Harry with Tom right behind him, and then there's a bit of a gap back to Harry's dad and my dad just behind him. So maybe 3 different battles going on in this race currently. One for the top 3, then one for 4th place, then one for 6th place. But you can see I've caught up to Tim quite a bit here. I managed to gain quite a few tenths of a second on that last couple of laps, and you can see I'm right up behind him here, and I'm making him look behind, which means that he will be going slow, because obviously when you look behind you're not focusing on the next corner, you know, for example. So, oh, Harriet's very sideways there, and Tom does well to narrowly avoid him there and not be involved in an accident. But as I was saying, as Tim looks behind, that means he probably loses a bit of time. Maybe not like, you know, seconds and seconds, maybe like just 1/10 of a second here and there. But my dad nearly goes down the inside there of Harry's dad. But Tom maybe finding it quite hard to get past Harry here, who's very good at defensive driving. Not gonna lie, I found that out myself in the last race. He's very, very good at defending a position. So it's going to be quite hard for Tom to get past him here. And obviously 4th place will be doing good stuff for Harry in the championship. Obviously last time out Harry scored 25 points. That was his first time in this championship, or first time in 2015 I should say. He did take part in, I think, four or five rounds last year. But anyway, my dad's trying to look down the inside of Harry's dad. There's no contact there on side by side. Harry's dad managed to get back past though once again. So much going on in this race as I'm right up behind Tim now once again. So I'm right up behind him. You can see Jobe has pulled out a bit of a gap here as my dad's trying to go around the outside of Harry's dad. But I can't quite get enough speed down this straight. I really don't know. Looking back at this footage, I wish like maybe I'd risk the move down the inside here, but if I brake that late, I'm not too sure whether I could really have got it stopped in time. But anyway, you can see that I was very, very close there with Tim. I didn't actually hit the back of his car, but I'm not gonna lie, that was incredibly small gap between us there. It really could have been an accident if that was misjudged in any way. But I missed it, but my dad has got past Harry's dad there, which is good for him. That gets him up to 6th place now, and he can go on to the attack and maybe try and catch up to Tom and Harry, who are battling over 4th place here. But Jobe has got a bit of a gap here. I'd say maybe 7-8 tenths of a second here, maybe even a second over us, battling over 2nd place here. And Tom's lost a little bit to Harry, who is pulled away in 4th place there. But the battle, you could say, the main battle is going to be on for 1st place, and a big battle is going to be on for 4th place. So either my dad can manage to catch up to Harry and Tom battling over 4th place. So really close stuff here, and I think that's really good about this championship. The karts are pretty similar. Obviously, sometimes you get very different karts. Like I'd say today, Harry's kart wasn't too great by the look of it, and my kart wasn't too great. But overall, the karts are pretty equal. I mean, obviously, there can be advantages here and there, but it equals itself out throughout the whole season, so that's why I try not to complain about it, but it probably comes across that way in the videos. But anyway, I've lost a bit of a gap here to Tim, who's actually catch up to Jobe, so I'm not too sure whether I've lost time to Tim or maybe Jobe's made a mistake. I'm not too sure what's happened here, but Tim's looking one way than the next to try and get past Jobe here, but he can't get that move done, and he's had to stick still in 2nd place here. But it does look like Tim is the fastest driver in this race at the moment. Jobe is very defensive and very fast, we know that, and Jobe is very aggressive in his style of driving, which, you know, sometimes can be good for him and sometimes can be bad, because it's good because he can get very good lap times out of it, but sometimes it's bad when you're in a heat of a moment battle, because maybe you make some bad decisions sometimes. And I've been racing Jobe obviously a couple of years now, and I do know he's very quick, but sometimes makes the wrong decision in important circumstances. But anyway, my dad's caught up to the back here of Tom and Harry, what am I trying to say? Battling over 4th place. I was going to say catching up to 3rd place, but that not really the case here, because I've still got a pretty big gap to them. But you can see at the top hairpin, looking at the top screens here, that Harry does seem to pull away in the braking zone quite a bit, so that's quite good. Maybe Tom braked a bit earlier there, not too sure, but anyway, we look back at the bottom screen, you can see Tim's lost a bit of time to Jobe once again. He's fallen back a bit, and I've closed up on him a little bit, so it is just so close between us three at the top here that anything could just, one little mistake could really change up everything here. Is my dad looking down the inside of Tom here into the top hairpin? Is he looking down the inside? Has he got the move done? Yes, he has. My dad moves up into 5th place now, and Tom drops down into 6th place here as Tim looks down the inside here of Jobe. They're on side by side. There's contact. I think Jobe spun around. He's hit the grass and he spun around and crossed in front of me there. I was incredibly lucky not to be involved in that accident there, and really lucky to get out of that without any injuries or anything, because that could have been a big accident. Look at the top screens there. Harry races past Jobe, a small gap, but he managed to get past, and my dad managed to get past as well. And Tom now just behind Jobe here in this battle, and now they're getting a little bit stuck up behind Harry's dad. Well, Harry gets a bit sideways there. Harry getting maybe a bit frustrated in that. My dad gets a bit bogged down in that accident, and now my dad and Jobe are running side by side. You can see this quite well on Tom's side of the screen here, into this very fast first turn here. Jobe gets a bit sideways. Tom's now right up behind him. He's looking down the inside here. Is there enough of an overlap down the straight? Not really. So Tom decides to go for the safer option, to go around the outside. My dad spins. Jobe hits him, and Tom hits Jobe. I think that was a bit of a concertina effect, because Harry's dad was going quite slowly, and I think that meant that Harry went slowly, and my dad sort of had to jab the brake on a bit here. But my dad actually, Harry spun as well, so that means Tom's up into 5th place once again. Tom's up into 4th place as Jobe is back into 3rd place now. So Jobe, even though he did have that spin, obviously when he hits him, he's got himself back up into a podium place. So I suppose he's not too worried about that. And at the top corner, when my dad actually spun, he was actually got given a ball to come to the pits, and I didn't understand why until after the 2nd race. So at this point I'm like, why is my dad in the pit lane here? But he actually got told he was going too fast under a yellow flag, which obviously I was a bit confused about, because the only yellow flag I can really understand it being for is the one where Jobe spun in the middle of the track, and Harry raced past much faster than my dad did. But I suppose it is what it is, and the marshals must have seen something there, which meant that my dad's come to the pit lane here. But that means he drops down to last place, I think 2 or 3 laps behind now. You can see on my side of the screen he's just exiting the pit lane as I go past there, still trying to chase down Tim, but it's just really tough, because Tim and I are so evenly matched, and literally any little difference in lap time can mean a massive difference in the end. And this first race was incredibly close. Obviously I did try and get past him once, but it didn't really work out, so that was a little bit annoying, and that meant I lost a bit of time to him. So yeah, anyway, we'll focus our attention to the battle on the top right hand side of the screen now with Tom on board. This is actually the battle over third place currently, because Jobe stuck up behind Harry's dad here, and Tom's right up behind him as well. So it's going to be pretty interesting, because if Tom can find an opportunity to overtake Jobe here, this could be good for a good podium place here and good points for him in the championship as well. Going to this round, I think Tom's 4th place in the championship. Yeah, Tom's, I think 4th place. No, Tom's 5th place in the championship. Sorry, Tom's actually last place in the championship going to this round. But yeah, obviously he knows that he isn't the slightest person, but it's just the amount of times you've been going karting, if that makes any sense, and the people you raced against in those certain rounds. So yeah, Tom's trying to find a way past Jobe, and I'm trying to find a way past Tim, and at the moment we're both not doing too great in that. So yeah, you can see Tom seems to have made a bit of ground up here, because Jobe and Harry's dad have made a bit of a mistake here, and Jobe brakes quite a bit there, and Tom's getting a bit frustrated there, because I think Jobe sort of jammed on the brakes a bit there, which I'm not too sure. Maybe you should get called into the pits for stuff like that. I don't know whether that was a brake check or not, when you brake in front of someone to slow them up and to make sure that to check that they're being aware, if that makes any sense. That's why it's called a brake check. But you can see I'm right up behind Tim here. The check flag isn't out yet, so I was like, yes, we've still got maybe at least another lap for an opportunity here. But the rain is actually starting to come down at the end of this first race here. You can see I'm right up behind Tim, and Tom's right up behind Jobe. No flag just yet, but the rain is coming down. I'm like, come on, we must have one more opportunity. That's a bad run through there though, so I think the check flag's being readied here, so we'll see it in a second here. Over the start finish line, is the checker flag out? Yes it is. Tim wins the first race of round number 4, and I say well done to him there. I think my dad just letting everyone through at the top hairpin, then that's why he was stopped. And Tom realised now the checker flag's out, but Jobe's escaped as he's got past Harry's dad. And up to the start finish line, Tom's going to be maybe not too happy with 4th place there, as he probably realised he could have got past Jobe, but Jobe maybe made a couple of mistakes that meant Tom had to brake and lost even more time. So I suppose it is what it is, but overall an interesting race, especially with the rain coming down there in the last like 3 or 4 minutes of the session. It definitely made for an interesting race here as we're slowing up, so they can put us in the order at the end here. So yeah, another interesting race in the go-karting championship. Obviously Tim taking his 3rd win of the season now. As we look at the race 1 results, Tim won, I was in 2nd place, Jobe was in 3rd place, Tom finished in 4th place, Harry finished in 5th place, Harry's dad finished in 6th place, and after my dad was called into the pits, he actually ended up in 7th place there. But anyway, let's move on to race number 2 here. In round number 4, we can see we're all going out to the grid here. It's a reverse grid, so I start in the 6th place, Tim starts in the 7th place here, and that means that Jobe will start in 5th. Then 4th place I think will be Tom. Yep, there we go. He's just getting into his pit slot there. So there we are, that's good for him. Looks like Harry will start in the 3rd place pit slot, I think so. And then 2nd place will be his dad. And then my dad will start in the pole position, obviously after being put to the back after his pit stop in the first race. And anyway, everyone's getting ready for this 2nd race here today, and should be an exciting one, because we saw what happened in the first race with the rain, and rain is, I wiped the camera off actually on mine, and you can see the top 2 I forgot to wipe the camera off, so there's still a bit of rain on them. But anyway, the lights are out and away we go. But it did actually rain a bit in the 2nd race as well, but it's just, it looks like that's on the top screen it's still raining, but it isn't. I just forgot to wipe the lenses off on the camera. But heading down to turn 1 here, I'm going around the outside here, Tim looking to the inside here. There's a bit of contact. Harry's dad spins around, as does Harry, and Tim somehow starts 7th place and gets into the lead. Like, how lucky is he? He manages to get into the lead of this race. Jobe also had a decent start. He's into 2nd place. Then my dad's in 3rd place after starting on pole. Tom's in 4th place. I'm in 5th place. Then I don't know who's in 6th place. It's either Harry or his dad. They're battling over 6th and 7th place currently. Heading up to the top hairpin here, I'm like, got to try and get past either my dad or Tom as quickly as possible here to try and keep the battle on with Jobe and Tim. But they both had really lucky starts. They both were down the inside and managed to escape all the carnage at turn 1. Not really carnage, but you know, all the spins, and unfortunately I got caught up in it. That lost me about 3 or 4 seconds, and it's going to be tough to really fight for this win here. As you can see, I run a bit wide there going over the grass. I'm wondering if Harry or his dad are there, so this wasn't even supposed to be a move, but I got sideways and I nearly ended up hitting Tom, but I somehow managed to control it and turn it into an overtake. So that's one of the cases of it wasn't supposed to be an overtake, but it ended up being one. I was like, okay, that's just it, and I'll take it. But anyway, now the next task is to try and get past my dad, but I seem to be so slow down the straights. I literally don't know why. It's really, like, obviously I know I weigh a bit more than some people, but my dad leaves to get down the inside, and I do manage to get down the inside with a clean move in the end. It looked like it was a bit of a late move, but I actually managed to get it done, you know, no contact or anything, which was good. But anyway, what was I saying? I was saying, obviously I know I weigh a bit more than most people here, so that's probably why I was a bit slower than maybe like Tim or Joe, but I don't know, my dad seemed to be fast in this race as well, so maybe he just had a better car, I don't know. But anyway, I'm like, is he down the inside here? But I managed to just realise in time and have the inside line here. Tom is a bit far back. He could maybe have got past my dad there, because there was a bit of a gap down the inside and he didn't really go for it. So Tom's now got the battle on to try and get past my dad into 4th place here, but at this point I was like, I'm so similarly paced to Tim, it's going to be really tough for me to catch them up here. I mean, the only chance I've really got is if they crash into each other and both spin. So, you know what, in the back of my head I was like, maybe that could happen. But anyway, my dad's catching up to me back once again after he had a couple of mistakes in the last couple of laps, so he's dropped a bit behind, but Tom's just behind him. So you can see all the 3 cameras we've got on the screen in order now, 3rd, 4th and 5th places here. But anyway, we've still got quite a bit of this race to go. We're only about the 3rd of the way into this race here, so we've still got a lot of racing to go. And you can see my dad in the straight lines quite fast, down the top, up to the hairpin. He doesn't quite have enough of an overlap on me there to go down the inside or around the outside, but that's good for me, I suppose. At least I can keep my 3rd place here. And I think I was more focused on keeping 3rd place at this time, because I knew if one of them spun I should be able to get past either Tim or Joe. So I was maybe hoping that would happen. Not that you wish that anyone would spin or whatever, but I did have it in the back of my mind. Like, I suppose that's the only way I could really realistically win this race, as I'm just so similarly paced to Tim. And I think Joe might be the fastest person, to be perfectly honest, here today. And I know I was so similarly paced to Tim, so it's going to be tough to try and get past him, even though I did catch him. So yeah, my dad's right behind me here. I can see I'm quite slow through this bottom part of the track as well. It just seems to be when you have a lot of speed, I go quite slowly. So, you know, my dad's looking down the inside here. I thought he was going to go to the inside, so I was like leaving him space down the inside, but he didn't go for the move, so I was like, okay, I better just turn to the corner then and keep my position. Tom dropped back a bit here. It's not a massive gap, but it's maybe a bit too much to overhaul in a couple of laps here, so he's going to have to work that down lap by lap and hopefully be able to catch my dad, at least for his sake. And now my dad's just got to try his best to get past me, because he's right up in the slipstream here. He's looking to the outside as I go to the inside. Well, I don't really like dive to the inside, it's just I drive in a straight line, and it's just the track is the way it is. You can be on the outside one moment and the outside the other moment, just because if you go straight, that's how it is, because it isn't actually a straight. I'll hopefully you understand what I mean. It's not a straight, it's got a bit of a curve in it, but you can literally just go straight down then. But anyway, my dad goes to the inside here and gets the overtake done. He's up into 3rd place there. That means I've dropped down to 4th, and Tom's got a bit too much of a gap there to capitalise on that as well. But I look down the inside once again, and there's a bit of stuff going on there. I don't know what's happening. I think that was Harry's dad spun around in the middle of the track. My dad and I were going side by side into the corner, so I'm not too sure how that played out. The yellow flag, which wasn't displayed, so I guess you just continue racing if there isn't a yellow flag. I'm not sure. Anyway, I was down the inside anyway. My dad just went really wide through the corner, so I didn't know what to do really there. But I thought, there's no yellow flag, so do I just leave it how it is? But anyway, Harry's dad now maybe going to hold up my dad and Tom, who are probably going to be a bit stuck up behind him here, and it's actually going to give me a bit of an advantage, because I could hopefully pull away a bit from this now and at least for my sake, I hope that I can pull enough of an advantage so there isn't an attack towards the end of this race here. And you can see on my screen now, after obviously the spin and everything, I lost about 2 or 3 seconds with that as well because I slowed up, and that meant that I lost even more time to Tim and Jobe. Obviously that happened behind them, so all happened I think just as I was about to overtake them, so they're really close as Harry's dad gets quite sideways there. I managed to stay in front of my dad here. My dad probably getting a bit frustrated with this because he knew that he was capable of getting past me and pulling away, but he was just unlucky with the spin from Harry's dad that he had to go to the outside as I was already down the inside there. But now my dad's going to look down the inside here maybe, I don't know. No, he's a bit too far back here, and Tom dropped a bit back from my dad once again as well, so not too sure what's happening. Well, not too sure what Tom's done. I'm not sure who's made a slight mistake. I wasn't really paying attention. But Jobe spun around here, and we've actually caught up to the back of Jobe here. He made a mistake. I think he crashed into the side of Tim here, and he spun around, and he went to the grass, but he got it going again. He's got back just in front of us. I slowed up a little bit because there was a yellow flag. Like, you have to slow up if you see a yellow flag. So I did slow up. But it was really annoying because I was like a little bit more and I could have got past him there, but all that's close there is Harry's dad nearly spun. My dad trying to get past him, but it's still not working out from here. He's probably getting a bit frustrated, stuck up behind Harry's dad, who is a lap or 2 down there at this point. Obviously he spun, so I think he's at least a lap down, so I'm not too sure how many laps down he's on the leader. I'm not even too sure, to be perfectly honest, but at this point I'm like, okay, my dad isn't that far behind, but I've got enough of a gap with him, so I don't need to keep defending. So the only thing about racing Jobe is he's just so fast in a straight line because he's so light. That's the only frustrating thing to racing Jobe. So yeah, I had that in mind all the time. I was like, it's going to be tough to overtake him in a straight line, so I'm going to have to make it up in the corner somewhere. My dad trying to get past Harry's dad there, but he can't quite get that done. But he's right up behind him now. He should have enough speed in a straight line to maybe get down the inside of him here. He's looking to the inside. He's got the move done. Now Tom, is he going to follow through? No, he's not. Tom doesn't follow through. Ooh! Big spin there from Harry's dad, who I think maybe got... Well, he's probably jabbed on the brakes here because maybe he thought he was going to try and get past my dad once again. But a bit of contact there with Tom. That was unlucky for him. I'm not too sure who this is just behind Tom here. It could be Harry. I'm not too sure. We'll see in a second here what happens. But I think that might be Harry just up behind Tom now, who's made up quite a bit of time, obviously, from spinning at the start. So, yeah, that would be pretty interesting to see what happens here. I'm still trying to close down. Yes, it is Harry. He's gone down the inside of Tom there with a really good move down the inside. And he's moved up into the... What was that? 4th? No, 5th place now. And Tom's dropped down to 6th place there. So... yeah, interesting stuff here, because Harry obviously had the spin at turn 1 of this race, but he's fought back, and now he should be in a good position to have a good race here with Tom as they're running side by side here. Harry not quite done quite yet, because Tom's right behind him. He's not quite got enough of an overlap to go down the inside here. Goes a bit sideways though, Harry, but luckily for him, there's no accident or anything, and he keeps going once again. But we're getting quite close to the end of this race here. I think 2 laps to go. So it's getting tense, and you can see on my screen here I've lost a bit of time to Jobe. He's just so fast in a straight line. It's so tough to make up enough time through the corners. But saying that, we're actually catching up to Tim a bit here in these last couple of laps here. So Tim may be backing off a bit here, realising he's got a comfortable lead in this race here, so he doesn't need to push. So that'd probably be why that Tim is just maybe relaxing a bit here and not doing as fast the lap times and just making sure he gets to the finish of this race here today. And I think this could be the last lap of the race here. You can see my dad's gone across the start finish line. Tom just goes across the start finish line right there, and he's right behind Harry here. It's the last lap of the race here. Can he get past Harry at the top hairpin here? No, he can't quite find enough of an overlap. And Tom does a similar thing to me. If he can't have enough of an overlap, he looks to the outside to get the better turn into the corner. But we'll see up to the start finish line here. There is the checkered flag is waving. Tim wins the second race, and Jobe finishes in second. I finish in 3rd place there. My dad finishes in 4th place. Harry picks up his second 5th place of the weekend. Tom finishes in 6th place, and then 7th place will go to Harry's dad. So another exciting race there once again, and we'll see the results any second now. So there we are. Tim wins. Jobe second, I'm 3rd, my dad finished in 4th place there, Harry finished in 5th, overtaking Tom right on the last couple of laps there. Tom finished in 6th place and Harry Harry's dad, so I should say, finished in 7th place there. And this is how the championship looks after round number 4. A lead on 110 points. My dad's on 83, Tim's on 65, Harry's on 39, Tom's on 34, Jobe's on 22, and then Harry's dad is on 11 points there. Obviously Jobe and Harry's dad only competing in 1 round so far, so yeah, exciting stuff in the first couple of rounds of this championship, guys, so thank you for tuning in. We're actually going to go-karting again next weekend. I think you might see this in a couple of months' time, so I don't know when you're actually going to see this video, guys, because I've got to schedule it out with all my other videos. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and until next time, it's been Alex, I'm out here. Goodbye.